ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Two more Bahamians have signed professional baseball contracts. Keithorn Moss and Devon Knowles inked their names on the dotted line last night. Both will be joining the Texas Rangers organization.
Individually, both possess extraordinary abilities, both on the field as baseball players, but arguably more importantly as high-character individuals, as I mentioned, off the field. And that's a credit both to the families, to the people that surround you guys in your network, and also to you as individuals. So that's a big pat on the back, but obviously, as you know, the future is bright ahead of you. There's a long way to go and a lot of great things to accomplish.
You guys got a huge future, man. It's going to be fun. So we will be there every step of the way. You have, former players to reach out to and ask questions to. A lot of you guys are in the minor leagues right now, and you guys can call them and be like, hey, man, it's going to happen. You're going to get into a little bit of slump. So what? Step up. Work harder. And these two guys here, we believe, will truly do it.
Moss and Knowles are both products of the International Elite Sports Academy, where Jeron Sands is one of the directors.
What can I say about Keithorn Moss? He's a special kid, man. He's a special kid. From age 11, he was going at it every day, extra ground balls, extra BP, extra everything. His goal was always to get to the major leagues, and it's just the beginning for him, and I always remind him every day it's just the beginning, but it's a good start. And we got another guy over there. His twin signed early in July. We was here earlier for that, and I think the last thing I said was we'll be back soon to handle Devon, and we're here tonight. This kid right here has worked, I talking about, super hard to get where he is today. If we looked at him a year ago, he's not the same person, he's not the same player that he was a year ago. To the day, and I think he could admit that.
16-year-old Moss is a switch-hitting shortstop who signed for $800,000. Knowles is also 16. He's an outfielder whose contract is worth $500,000.
Hard work beats talent. You can't just expect nothing to be given to you because, it won't happen. You can ask people to try. They just went down the drain. You have to go the extra mile. When you're tired, you also got to go there and finish what you got to do. Just to play college, anything in life, you just have to always push. You have to motivate yourself, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna be there to motivate you in the world. Your family sometimes your family might not even be there, but you gotta be the one for yourself to always just never give up and just keep going out there, because we're trying to turn dreams into realities.
I would like to thank the Texas Rangers organization for signing me for me to play baseball professionally, to follow my dream, and becoming the first two twins from the Bahamas international to make it to the major league.
Chris Glaze serves as an advisor for both Moss and Knowles. He shared a funny story about when he was first told about the Bahamian duo.
I used to coach at the summer program in Cincinnati where Christian and Keithorn had played last year, and I got a call from a friend of mine I used to coach with, and he said, hey, you need to come see these kids. I said, okay, where are they from? They said the Bahamas. I said, from where? And they said the Bahamas. I said, well, I don't even know they played baseball in the Bahamas. But, so I went up to see them, and immediately extremely impressed. I got to deal with mostly American kids on a daily basis and American ball players. But to come down here, this is the hardest working group of kids I've ever been around. And they don't have a ton of resources, and they don't complain. They make the most of what they have. And that's why you're going to see a lot of players coming from here and making it to the big leagues and staying in the big leagues.
Already playing in the minor league system for the Cleveland Indians is Todd Isaacs, and he hasn't forgotten where he's come from. On January 6th, Isaacs will host and compete in the inaugural Don't Blink Home Run Derby at Montague Beach. Now, for some, pulling off this kind of an event would be a challenge, but not for Todd.
It wasn't difficult at all because, I told them that I had something in store for us. And they all like, oh, what could this be? What could this be? And the second I said, we're gonna have a home run derby, it's like, wow, everyone's like, okay, hey, we definitely a part of this, because everyone wants to be the one that hits the most home runs. So what better way to find out who will be our home run king this year throughout all of us who are competing, hopefully. You know, it stays away from that guy over there, because we won't have the end of that. But it wasn't difficult at all to get them all on board. You know, we all are brothers. You know, it was, for me coming in pro baseball, I wanted to create an environment to where we all stay together. You know, we all do things together, and just to create a good image for baseball in the Bahamas and worldwide. So this event, I feel that it's gonna project baseball in the Bahamas. It's gonna bring a lot of eyes. It's gonna bring a lot of attention, because we really and truly do have some talented baseball players here.
High jumper Giles Eddy soared to the top of the charts, winning the Field Athlete of the Week award in the Big Ten Conference. The Indiana freshman set a new Hoosier Open record in the men's high jump, clearing 7 feet 3 inches. The Giorgio Baldacci Nationals on the schedule for next week. Here's President of the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association, Elwood Donaldson.
We're very excited about it. It starts this coming Monday. We have a players meeting Sunday to familiarize the players with the procedures. This year we have a strong field in both the females and the male side. You know, predominantly the male side has been very strong, with all of our top players basically participating. This year in the females, we have, you know, that has had mostly juniors participating. We have the return of Simone Pratt, Kerry Cartwright, Larica Russell, Daniel Thompson. So we're expecting some strong competition, and also our junior players who have participated in the past, they have improved. So we expect it to be an exciting tournament, good competition over the 3 days of the tournament.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, putting his full support behind sailing in the Bahamas. For the nation's chief, it's now about making sure the next generation carries on the legacy of those who came before them.
Native sloop sailing continues to grow in our Bahamas. And my hope is that it will inspire more of our young sailors to take Bahamian sailing to another level. We must also find the next generation of world-class sailing talent to join the ranks of Sir Derwent Knowles, Donnie Mattenberg, Gavin McKinney, and Mark Holoresco as world champions. I believe we will, through the continued staging of events like this, and my wish is that the Bahamas will be among the countries qualified to participate in sailing in the 2020 Olympics.
Those comments by the Prime Minister, of course, coming at the closing for the best of the best regatta. And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.